So, guys, I hope you're well. Today is 31st of January 2025. The situation in Congo is developing. Apparently, the Congolese army managed to recapture the airport in Goma. I'm not 100% sure about this. I will have to research and confirm if it's 100% true. Anyways, these M23 militants have taken over the city, okay, and they have cut the electricity. Obviously, no electricity, no internet, okay, and no electricity to charge the phone. So there are many people in this part of the country that are completely uncommunicated, and this is very similar to what the Israelis did in Gaza as well, just to prevent people from sharing information about what's happening in Goma. So we have various individuals that are the leaders of this M23 rebel group. They came out publicly saying that they're not receiving support from Rwanda, and they came out publicly saying that they are fighting for the rights of the people that live in the region of Goma. It happens to be that these people, as explained on another video, they are Tutsis that have been there since colonial times, and apparently they say that they have been treated as second-class citizens and they demand rights to the Congolese government. However, if you know the history of Congo, you will understand that these people, they always align with Rwanda or their interests in the Congo. Although for them, it might be a political fight, okay, like the M23 is saying and is heavily exploiting at this point. What Rwanda seeks is to have influence over the Congolese government. And they'll do this by kind of suggesting more rights for these people that are placed in the north of Kivu, of Goma, sorry, of Kivu. And they if these people obtain more rights in the Congolese government, which is what they want a political party, they want a representative, which they already have, okay, and pretty much have the same rights as the Congolese people have, which obviously I don't understand what they complain about because they do have the same rights anyways. But apparently they're saying that the Congolese army has been attacking them for many years. There's no evidence about this. Most of the massacres that happened in the area, they were done by the M23 rebels. So now the M23 rebels, they have entered into these villages, and obviously you have these people that are claiming for more rights within Congo, although these people originally they're not from the land. So it's like me coming from Congo into the United Kingdom, basically, and saying, well, I want the Congolese people to have a seat in the government. This is basically what they're doing. Obviously, they've been there for many years, and the current boundaries of the Congo, many of them were they were created by the European powers, right? But this has created many ethnic issues, as is happening in many other African countries, anyways. But yeah, if they want rights, they should have rights. But they shouldn't invite pretty much a foreign country like it is Rwanda and allow them to support them in the political plight, which is pretty much what they're doing. Now, Rwanda is saying that it's not involved in the conflict. N23 is saying that Rwanda is not providing them with weapons and with money, and they're doing this independently. If you look at the uniforms, if you look at the weapons, and you look everything they have, apart from certain vehicles that have been pretty much taken from the Congolese army because many had just left the position, others have joined the M23 because the family members, many of the individuals of the Congolese army, they live in that region and they're part of this ethnic group anyways. So many of them have left together with the weapons. They crossed the border to Rwanda and they gave the weapons, the uniforms and everything to the Rwandan government. So Rwanda keeps saying they're not involved. However, as I say, the M23, every time they open up a corridor, they open it to Rwanda. They're not opening it within Congo. Although they claim the Congolese, they getting support from Rwanda to continue with the military operation. Obviously now, they don't look like mercenaries or rebels from like Blood Diamond. I don't know if you watched that movie for Leonardo DiCaprio. But obviously now they have like really good uniforms provided by Rwanda, which obviously they receive these year from European and countries and America, right? So they look well, they look fit, many of them, and they look organized. And now they're saying, actually, look, we're not rebels anymore. Although in the past we've killed thousands, if not millions, of people in the worst ways that you can imagine. Okay. Now, hey, we are a well-organized army, and we come here to bring democracy and to bring rights to these people that they are cheering at us because we are from the same ethnic group. Cool. So the change of image does not convince anybody. In fact, Paul Kagame have come in public saying that he's not involved, but his speech did not convince anybody. He did not convince Kenya, he did not convince South Africa, and he did not convince the UN General Assembly, which they have criticized Rwanda for their actions and for their support for the M23. Every time there is a ceasefire agreed with the M23, it's Rwanda who talks on their behalf. So how can they say that the M23 has a political cause that is not linked to Rwanda? Now, what's the interest of Rwanda in the country? Why is Rwanda crossing the border and getting into the Congo? And then publicly saying that the Congolese problem is the president of Congo. He's the real problem because he's incapable of finding a solution to the problems that they have in the Congo. But we find Rwandese soldiers along M23 rebels within the Congo. So I don't know who is trying to confuse here because it makes no sense. And people can see through his lies. There is physical evidence, there are images, there are videos showing Rwandese soldiers within the Congo. And in the past, they crossed the border and they marched all the way to Kinshasa, to the capital, to remove the president from power. So when Paul Kagame comes and says that they are not involved in the Congolese conflict, he's joking. He's joking. And people should be laughing about what he's saying. If you know the past of the Congo, you understand that this guy is just laughing. He's just trying to entertain people. Whilst behind, he's got his real objective, which he's using the M23 to capture land territories, okay, within Congo, in the eastern part of Congo, where there are vast reserves of mineral resources, and he's exploiting this on behalf of certain companies that have interest in exploiting these mineral resources. Many of these mines that are located in this area are controlled by the Chinese, okay? And the Chinese have reached agreements with the Congolese government to allow them to exploit these mines. The Chinese are paying for the exploitation of these resources. They're paying the taxes. And they're also paying the government for this. They reached an agreement with the Congolese government. However, when the M23 or the Rwandan army, which is the same thing, do this, they do it completely illegally. Not only that, they take the resources and they export them into Rwanda. And then Rwanda sell these resources in the international market and makes a killing out of it. A killing. Such a killing that they have been able to improve the economy of their country by the selling of cobalt, by the selling of gold and other mineral resources that they do not have. They do not have it in Rwanda. They lack these resources, but they are all located in Congo. So they managed to build their cities, they managed to build their country, they managed to get money for the military, and they still get in foreign aid from other countries for the military. This is a well-trained, well-prepared military, okay, trained by the Americans in order to intervene in different conflicts. That's the argument, okay? They train them well in order to intervene in many different conflicts. But as in the conflict of Mozambique, for example, where they were fighting against Islamist jihadists, the Rwandan soldiers, they did dodgy stuff in there. Without even the consent of the Mozambique government. They just walk in and they occupy certain territories where there were also natural resources and where there were projects that the Chinese have paid the Mozambican government to start helping them in these projects, kicking out the Chinese, basically. And there are many reports within Congo of Chinese entrepreneurs getting killed by the M23 gangsters and by other terror groups that are in the eastern part of the Congo, okay, attacking specifically Chinese projects, only Chinese projects, taking over them and using the local population to extract these minerals, okay, and exploit them completely. So this is the interest of Rwanda in the Congo. Don't get fooled when you get Paul Kagame, when you get Mr. Museveni coming and saying that actually, no, this is a political cause. And the Congo or the Congolese government, because they haven't given rights to these people now are protesting and they have become the M23 and they're fighting for the rights within the Congo. And every time you see these guys talking about the M23 and the actions in Congo, there's always a Rwandese person supporting the actions. Rwandans are sleeping over the dead bodies of thousands of Congolese people, and they're sleeping comfortably, okay? It stinks. The whole Rwandan improvement of the country stinks of its hypocrisy, because these people have built the country in the back of the death of Congolese people, and they're living comfortably. They support the president who has been in power for 24 years. 24 years. Tell me which Western democracy can approve that, unless they have a king or queen like England or like Spain and many other countries, all right? But they have parliament. They have a parliament where they elect the new prime minister or the new president, okay, who represent a political party and the interests of that political party and the people that voted for them. In Rwanda, that's inexistent. There's only Paul Kagame, who gets 99% of the vote, and he's always elected and re-elected and elected and re-elected for 24 years. And Rwandans, they love this system. They love this system of continuous dynasty, okay, of this Tutsi-led government, which they don't only exercise control over the politics of the country, but they also want to do it in the politics of the neighboring countries. So Paul Kagame have come in public saying that the death of these South African soldiers, it was kind of justified because they're the ones who moved next to the border with Rwanda. But these South African soldiers die within Congo, which have reached an agreement with the UN in order to allow these peacekeepers to come into the eastern part of the Congo and avoid further conflicts. So how comes the Rwandans are saying that this is justified when it happens in Congolese territory? Although they're close to the eastern border, how is that justified? Not only that, the president of South Africa came out saying that this is wrong. These actions are wrong, okay? And it will be a response to this. Paul Kagame came out publicly saying that, okay, if you're not bring the beef, bring it over. You and every country that wants to challenge us near our borders will go after you and we will destroy you. Apparently, it's okay. He didn't say that with those words, but I just gave you a summary of what he said. Basically, extremely rude, not diplomatic at all way of communicating with other leaders. Okay, now South Africa is preparing troops to send them to the eastern part of the Congo. The purpose we don't know. We don't know the purpose, but it seems like Mr. Felix, the president of Congo, has requested support from Angola, from South Africa, and from other countries that are now sending troops into the Congo in order to march towards the eastern part of the Congo and get rid of the M23 and to push the Rwandan soldiers out of the Congo. Now, there are reports of mercenaries, I believe they are from Bulgaria, that have been caught basically by the M23 when they were taking over the city of Goma. These guys just surrendered. They were like, okay, we give up. Here are our weapons. We're gone. We want to leave. This is not our country. We're not fighting for our country. These guys were getting thousands a month, paid by the Congolese government, okay, for them to, one, train the Congolese forces, okay, in modern warfare, and two, also fight along with them against these M23 rebels. However, apparently, the Congolese forces ran away, and I explained to you earlier why. Then you have some forces from Burundi that they also ran away, and then these mercenaries from themselves surrendered by these M23 fighters, and they just gave up. So the M23 fighters, what they did, okay, they gave these mercenaries to Rwanda. They created a corridor and they allowed them to leave and return to the countries. Obviously, they created a corridor of shame where they were forcing them to run, beating them in the head and stuff like that. But they end up leaving. Many of them, they were part of the French Foreign Legion. If you don't know about this region, just research it, okay? And obviously, they embarrassed them in front of the cameras. Now, many people are criticizing the Congolese government and saying, well, the Congolese soldiers are not well paid. They might get $100 per month, whilst these Bulgarian or Romanian soldiers, they're getting thousands a month, each one of them. So the money used to pay them, it could have been used to increase the salary of the Congolese soldiers, okay, in order to get them motivated. There's a problem here, which is when you get motivation through money, it is easy to be corrupt, okay? I agree that the salary of the Congolese soldiers is really low, but so is the salary of everyone in Congo. It's an impoverished country, okay? Therefore, sometimes they cannot afford that. And sometimes where there is an issue that happens, that arises, like the one we've seen M23 coming into the eastern part of the Congo, there is a need for a quick solution. And sometimes you have to pay the right money for that solution, which is thousands, if not millions of dollars, in order to recruit different advisors to help you, army, to get trained and to get better. And sometimes you have the right to also hire private military companies in order to help you defend in certain positions. And this is exactly what the Congolese government did. I'm saying the salaries are low, but what they did, I think, is correct. And I think this is the solution. It is the solution for African countries. They'll have to look at who they have inside their countries. Those who keep betraying them, even if they are Congolese and they have been there for hundreds of years, if the political actions bring instability, they need to understand that they're going to have to suffer the consequences. Okay? And this is the issue with the Tutsis that have been in the eastern part of Congo for many years. They speak a different language and they look slightly different. And they don't consider themselves Bantu people. They think they are superior to Bantu people. And they're trying to claim some kind of ancient kingdom that takes half of the Congo with them and other territories within the Great Lake region of Africa. So there is an ethnic problem here. There is a problem with the salaries. There are many problems in the Congo that needs to be fixed. But that doesn't justify Rwanda crossing the border, okay, and trying to take control over a mineral-rich territory in the Congo. That doesn't justify the M23 that have been thugs killing thousands every day, basically. It doesn't justify them now trying to pretend that they are some kind of modern military that seek peace and they don't seek war. Because so far what they have been doing is exactly that. Okay? So, that's what I wanted to touch about today. There are many things coming out regarding the conflict of Congo. And many people, they get extremely confused by many individuals that they are coming into commentary sections or they are creating videos, okay, in which they're trying to blame the Congolese government for what is happening. Okay, this is not a moment to do that. And there are people within Congo that criticize the government every single day. But we do understand that now there is a national problem and there needs to be a solution to that. Once you find a solution to that, start criticizing the government. But right now, what the government needs is support. Is support to get rid of the threat that is taking place in the eastern part of the Congo and is threatening the citizens of the Congo who are now living, many of them, under the dictatorship of the M23 fighters. They're not bringing electricity, they're not bringing water, they're not bringing anything to the population that are living there. So, I hope you like this video. Please share it with your friends, share it with people that you think might be interested about this. Press like, and as always, I'll continue informing you.